All right. We are backstage at Largo in Los Angeles with Grammy Award-winning artist Adele. It's so good to see you
And
again.
you, how are you?
I'm great, thank you very
Good.
much. It's been a couple
Mm.
years, and we've missed you a lot.
Oh, thanks.
And during the last couple years, I looked at your blog as often as you posted, and I saw, let's see, you learned to drive.
Yeah, but it failed. I failed.
I was going to ask if you
No,
accomplished
no,
it.
but it's fun while it lasted. But no, I didn't succeed, unfortunately.
Well, we'll circle back around to that because I have some questions about being in LA and not being able to drive. And then I saw that you got a dog.
Yeah,
And does your dog travel with you? Is it small
he's
enough?
gonna start. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna start travelling with me very soon.
And where is he when you're here in the States?
He's
Does
at
he-
home. I live with my mum. We moved back in together when I finished touring, and so he gets to stay at home with my mum, and he responds to her with Grinny. She doesn't want to be a granny to a dog, so we settled with Grinny.
Grinny.
Yeah.
And what is your dog's name?
Louis Armstrong.
Oh, Louis Armstrong. And what kind of dog is it? A dachshund?
Yeah, wiener dog, sausage dog.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. And the other thing I saw on your blog quite frequently was you were either getting sunburned or trying to avoid getting sunburned.
Yeah, no, when I was in Malibu, yeah, I looked like a typical Brit broad, red after the first couple of hours of being there. And when it's overcast, you assume you don't get burnt, but of course, I'm very pale. So I do. Yeah.
So you were in Malibu for the recording of this record. You were at Shangri-La.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, I looked online and I read some of the history
Yeah.
of that studio, but I also saw a photo of an old Airstream trailer. Is there a recording studio in the
Yeah,
trailer?
it's a mixing room, it can be a vocal booth, and it's Bob Dylan's old tour bus.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's used for all different sorts. Whatever you want to use it as, you can use it as.
And what did you use it as?
I did a little bit of vocals in there, mainly mixed and kind of cut things together, like any a cappella bits or anything like that. Because I was hoping to do the vocals all live, like with the band, obviously live, but with all of us all together. But I've got pre-nodules and my voice went, so I had to do the vocals after.
I see. And tell me more about the actual studio. It looks like it's sort of a remote, secluded place.
Malibu's pretty remote and secluded, isn't
Did you
it? Oh.
did you live
Yeah, I
at
lived
the
there.
studio?
Not at the studio, no, we rented a place up around the corner a little bit. And I've got to say, it's actually pretty lonely. I had a couple of work people with me and a couple of friends came out, but I was hoping to sort of like settle in and sort of find a little local cafe that I'd walk to every morning, and everyone lives behind a gate. So no, unless I become the new Barbra Streisand, I won't be living in Malibu. But it was amazing being there in the studio. It was out the way, but I guess looking back on it, it was actually probably quite a good thing it was tucked away, because I think I might have got a bit busy and worn myself out,
Right.
out of studio hours if I hadn't been in Malibu.
It kept you focused.
Yeah, totally.
But you don't drive, and you were how long were you here in LA and not driving?
Well, I wasn't even in LA, so it was impossible
Right.
to walk anywhere. 4.5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. But I had someone with me who drove, luckily.
Good. And you worked on the album with Rick Rubin, and to me, you know, he's such an iconic figure,
Yeah.
having produced everything from Metallica to those incredible Johnny Cash albums. What was your first meeting with him like?
First time I met him, it was a bit up in the air because he came to Saturday Night Live when I was doing it, so I was already kind of pretty shell shocked from being asked to do SNL, and then Sarah Palin turning up, and then everyone just panicking, like, you know. So I was already a bit like, I want to go home, and then he turned up, which just sort of blew my mind even more. And it was really, I don't remember it that well because I don't really think I was there very much that night because I was so overwhelmed. But I just remember seeing him when I was singing Chasing Pavements live on SNL, and I could see him behind the camera, like bopping his head, his notorious bop. And but after that, it was quite immediate, really. I mean, I'm very in awe of him, and I always was, and I'm very aware, and always have been, of what he's done, and sort of how important he is, and what a trendsetter, I guess, that he is. But he's so calming. It's just, usually I get a bit flustered around people that I'm either recognise or that I'm in awe of, and with him, he just calms me down. So yeah, it was just kind of like hanging out, really.
And who were the musicians that you used? Who was the band on the
they're
album?
amazing. With the Rick songs that I've done, it's Chris Dave on drums, Smokey Hormel on guitar, Matt Sweeney on guitar, Pino Palladino on bass, and we really bonded. He's got a daughter my age, and we're from the same area, so we really bonded. And James Poyser on keys, and kind of various percussion and strings and choirs and stuff like that. So yeah, but I mean, it was amazing. You could smell how great they were when you walked into the room. It was like, I was like, yeah, it was. I've never met musicians like that.
And your first album was called 19, and this one is 21.
Mm.
And the first album was really, a lot of the songs were about a specific relationship.
Yeah.
Is that theme carried over into the new
Just
album?
about
Same
different boy.
relationship? Oh, different.
No,
new boy.
The old boy. He ain't in my life no more. Yeah, it's just it's the same concept, I guess, but about someone else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how did you arrive at this? I've only heard one song, but the song that I heard, the single, was incredible. And my first response was, it's not gimmicky at all. Like, it's such a solid song. It sounds like Aretha Franklin to me.
Oh wow! Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. How did you arrive at the sound of this album?
I got introduced to Wanda Jackson, the rockabilly icon, and a friend of mine was taking her photograph, and he told me about it, and I hadn't heard of her, so he kind of got me into one of her songs called "Funnel of Love," and then I just fell head over heels and over that. So then I just sort of went off into Wanda Jackson wilderness for about a year, and I just love her. She introduced herself to my friends as, "Oh hi, I'm the angel with the dirty voice," which I just think fierce. I think she's brilliant. Yeah, and I love how kind of dirty but tender her voice is. And I mean, I haven't made a rockabilly record, but it's kind of like influenced my kind of R&B soul, whatever my voice is, and we ended up with Rolling in the Deep. And I wanted something. The guy that wrote that song with, and who produced it with me, Paul Wetworth. His studio is very understated. It's not flash. He's got all the equipment he needs and stuff like that, but it's really, really organic. Like, I mean, that was a step. The bang, the drum is not a drum; it's a step. So it was just a bit shackly, really, and that's how we came up with it.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
Thank you very much.
And I heard you wrote some songs with someone who's actually an old friend of mine, Dan Wilson
Yeah,
from Minneapolis.
I wrote what I think is the best song I've ever written with Dan.
You did? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I need to know, because I've always been curious, like, how does it work? Does he, like, chop her in a helicopter and, like, you know,
No.
how does it all...
Again, I know I'm going to use the word again, Dan is the most understated person I've ever met. Turns up in his little rental car. I mean, we used the tiny studio. It was literally a garage, like a garage or whatever. And we just sat at the piano for a day, and I had the lyrics from home that I'd written on the guitar, and I couldn't finish the song. So I knew from what I'd known that Dan had done that he'd be perfect to get me where I wanted to go with Someone Like You, which is one of the songs we've written three together. But it was really old school. We just wrote it on the piano, and then we recorded it when it was written. It wasn't sort of like recording it and then listening to it thinking, where could we go next? We just sat in the room, and it was amazing.
So you come with the lyrics, and then does he help with the lyrics, or does he sort of
with
take
some
it
of the
someplace?
songs he did, yeah, some of the songs, but usually I write all the lyrics and all the top lines and melodies, and then I have an input with the music, but someone else sort of directs it, because I only know 4 chords, so my whole record would sound like Chasing Pavements if I didn't work with other people. But yeah, it varies. Sometimes I go in with nothing, and someone else gives me, like, I've written a song called Turning Tables with Ryan Tedder, and he just said I really like the phrase turning tables, and I've been speaking to him about my relationship and saying, "It's always fucking turns the tables on me, sorry." And then he came up with the phrase turning tables, and so it's kind of like just bounce off each other. And this record is a lot more co-written than my first record was, but I actually really enjoy writing with other people. It makes me a lot less small-minded about structure, like the structure of writing songs, which I really think is a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
We can't wait to hear some new songs tonight, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Bye. It's my pleasure.